Hello there, welcome to this new video. Today I'll be cleaning up my content planner because it's a mess, and it has been for a while, and it's embarrassing. Even though no one sees it but me, I still want it neat and organized. See the cover of this notebook? The inside definitely matches. Anyway, as you can see, I have a bunch of reference prints and random scribbles everywhere. The front and back cover are dirty with graphite smudges. We will be fixing all of that. I will list everything I use in the description, and I will be starting by going through all the pages and random papers and ripping the ones that I don't want there, separating them into a keep pile and a recycle pile. The keep pile, I will cut out the salvageable pieces and recycle the rest. I have a tray full of paper scraps, and I keep almost any piece of paper that I could potentially use in some way or somehow. Anyway, I tried cleaning the smudges, but it did not turn out as clean as I wanted, so I will cover this later on entirely. So here again, I'm just sorting them into the ones that I'm gonna throw them out into the recycling bin, and then the ones I saved, I'm taking my cutting machine, it's not a machine, but this cutting thingy, and I'm just trimming the blank areas and also the ripped out spine, the edges, so that I don't have to deal with them later on. This produced a mess, but yeah. I'm trying to avoid ripping the first page with the quote. I don't want it there, but I also don't want to lose the page, and none of my original solutions worked until I found this cutout of black paper that is the product of my November setup of last year. I will make sure to pop up some pictures, but I saved those papers and I end up utilizing them in this video. And I paired it with this gray cardstock underneath, and I was sold. I saw it and immediately the vision formed in my brain. I fiddled with it a bit, moved it to the left side. It also needed some trimming, but once I was happy, I glued everything down, and on the left I wrote the quote with a fine fountain pen, and on the right I wrote content planner with a white paint pen, doing a few layers to get it opaque. And then later on I will come back and add a start and finish titles underneath. The start title is going to be August of last year, because I planned my September theme in this notebook, and I did my September theme of last year during August. So, like I said, this has been a mess for a very, very, very long time. Then to cover the ghosting, I glued the papers together, and on this page I will make an index. I don't usually use an index, but with a content planner everything is all over the place, so an index is really useful. And sometimes I use it as an idea log, so I will write down the idea, and if I end up planning it, I will add a page number, and then I will check it if I actually do the idea. I made some small rectangles from the black paper as a header for both pages, and wrote index and ideas on each. Then brought out my N95 Tombow and highlighted every other line, although my highlighting ended up more wonky than I would have liked. This is almost the only instance where I highlight every other line. I don't think I've done it before in a bullet journaling context. I'll be writing video ideas here as well, as I said, and then add a page number if I do some planning for the video, and then I will check it off if I make the video, as I've mentioned. That is why I added dots, and I used the gray acrylic paint pen to do the dots. It has a large round felt tip, so if I pressed hard enough, it gives a perfect dot. After that, I chose a few washi tapes to add tabs to some pages so that I can find them easier. At first I was going to do the tab of the entire side of the page, but then I didn't really want to use that much washi, so I ended up doing smaller rectangles. I didn't really measure it. I don't care all that much for them to be as neat as I would have done if they were in my bujo. Anyway, I chose a textured print regular washi, a thicker polka dot washi, and a thinner floral pattern washi. I really love the combo and I'll have them linked. I added them to the intended pages and I'll make a key for them later. Now we will work on the back cover and it will be the same as the front. Luckily, I had more of that black paper cut out and I found a piece of scrap gray cardstock also. I'm really happy that I ended up reusing some of the scrap paper I saved here. It felt good making the notebook look nice without having to use new materials and also justify the fact that I keep every piece of salvageable paper that I come across. Inside, the shape will be the key, so I added a small swatch of each washi I used and left a bit of space in case I ended up needing a fourth category, going from thickest to thinnest just because I like it to be orderly, and then with a fine fountain pen wrote what each washi signifies. Feel free to snoop, but you would not understand because you're not me and you do not live in my brain. Now I'll go back and number all the pages with the fine side of the Tombow brush pen, because otherwise how am I gonna index those? And while I do that, I'll talk more about what I use this notebook for. Primarily, I use it to plan out the themes for my bullet journal and how I want everything to look. I'm truly a visual learner, or like a visual person, I guess. So I need to see images for me to comprehend my ideas, I guess. So I make small thumbnails for each spread, again, just to visualize my ideas and also so I don't forget where I want stuff to be and how I want everything to look, because I relied on my memory one too many times and it failed me. So I definitely write down my ideas or thumbnail them so that I don't forget them. I might also add some notes, etc. Or, if I'm having trouble visualizing things, I'll make a couple of thumbnails so that I can, pick and choose. Now that I'm also regularly making videos, I'll track that here as well and plan more here rather than my notes/brain dump journal. And I'll be putting in some of the editing notes that I usually put in my brain dump notebook. I'll be putting them in this one because, well, since I have a content planner and content planner is for YouTube, might as well have the editing notes for my YouTube videos be in the notebook for the YouTube videos. Yeah. If you're interested in a longer babbling session about my notebook lineup or notebook collection, definitely let me know, because I probably have too many to make sense. And also, if you would like an in-depth video about how I plan a theme rather than, the entire notebook, just one theme for one of the months, also let me know. I would happily do so. I decided to also go ahead and populate the index somewhat. So the pages retabbed, as well as some other important ones that I want to find later easily, were written down here with the corresponding page number, of course, like the start of my theme pages for the second half of the year, and also some projects that I'm working on that I'm constantly flipping to remind myself of my plans or to plan them actively in advance. Lastly, I decided to add an envelope in the back to house any random prints that I want to keep or I'm going to need, but I don't have a home for yet. And it was really simple. I found a cutout in the exact shape I needed. I just needed to trim it to size, score 3 sides to make flaps with the back of my X-Acto knife, so not the sharp edge. It will only scar the paper, not cut it, so you will be able to fold it and, you know, not entirely cut the paper. I'm sure you know what I mean. I trimmed the angles to make it easier to fold and then glued it down. But this is it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for listening to me babble, and I will see you in the next one.